guys, Victoria here for Tonic Studios. So today we have a brand new die set and it's the Create to Make and it is called the Octavia gift box, and it's an absolutely stunning box, and when you see it I think you will all be going yes, yes, yes. If you are familiar with the hat box, then this is an absolute winner chicken dinner for me anyway. And I think it's an absolutely stunning box. To think that this is a 6x6 die set. I do actually have it here on an A5 magnetic sheet in case that threw you, just whilst I've been working on it. But considering this is such a small affordable die set, I cannot believe what it makes. So I'm just quickly going to slide one in. There we go. That is the Octavia gift box. As you can see there, it is a substantial make. Okay, I've lined the inside there. Beautiful box indeed. Now I will get the measurements out for you shortly and I will measure the box. So that's one I've created there. We're going to make another one today, and this is one I've just done, and I know it's quite early to be mentioning the Christmas word, but I just thought that would make a stunning Christmas gift box. Imagine hand-baked cookies in there. Absolutely stunning. So I'm going to talk you through the die set now, and we have a couple of other things. Well, we have some other things I want to show you as well. So let's put those out of the way. This is the side panel to your box. You will need to cut 8 of these out. These 2 panels here create that base and a lid. So the smaller one is for your base. You will need to cut out for your base 8 of these in total. This is for your lid, the larger one, and you'll need 4 of those. Now if you wish to line your lid, you will need then to cut another 4 of these. It depends how far you want to go in your make. I mean, I have lined the inside, the lid and everything, but that's just my personal choice. Now, when you are creating the lid, you will need to cut out these dies. Now, the way you can tell the difference, if you line them both together, one is longer than the other. So this one is going to be for your lid. You'll need to cut 4 of those. This is for your base. You'll need to cut 4 of those. And these link together with these to create your octagon. Okay. Now, this is for your lid, so you'll need to cut 8 of these. Now, Tonic have been very clever the way that they've designed this. Because it is such a small die set, there's only so much you can fit on a 6x6 die set. But basically, this lid has been made so that depending on what kind of cardstock you use, because we use all different cardstock in all places of the world, a £100 cardstock, a 270, a 240, a 216. There's lots of different cardstock, and depending on that cardstock depends how many times you'll need to line the inner rim of your lid. Okay, now I've normally done 2 or 3, and I've lined the inside of the lid once it's been completed. There is a reason also for lining the lid. It covers any glue tabs from the wrapping the ribbon around, and I'll show that in a moment. But it's been made that way so that, you know, we all use different weight of cardstock. Now this die here, this is what you're going to use for your strips down the side of the box for your ribbon and for your ribbon loops. Okay, so you'll be using that one quite a lot. This die here is to connect to this die here, and this will give you that lip that goes on the inside of your box and tucks underneath your lid. Okay, and I'll show you that in a moment. You have decorative panels for all of these dies. So we have like the candy cane chevron-y type. So I mean, if that is in red and white for Christmas, that would be beautiful. You also have polka dot, and you have like a basket weave. You have a beautiful little love heart here that you can hang from the box, and you also have a sentiment here also. And then these are your ribbons that will go on your lid. These are ribbons that will go down the side. And then this little die here has this die here. Now this has a little slit that runs all the way down the centre, and that gives you this die here. These little loops with a split in the middle, and we've all know bought these for parcels when we've been giving somebody a parcel, so now you can make your own, which is great. Dependent on what cardstock you use, depending on how rounded off you can get these ribbons. This is quite thin cardstock, so if you use something a little bit more robust, you're going to get more of a loop. Like these are more looped because they have that mirror card going round them. Okay, so maybe to get these a little bit more loopy, more mirror card would have been better there, but I'm quite happy with that box there. So now I'm going to measure. Let's get the ruler out, she says. There we go. So the base of the box, and I'm old school, so it's 6.5 inches in circumference. Okay, and the depth of the box is just under 3.5. Okay, and then you've just got that just over 1/2 inch depth for your lid there. Now I was going to show you, wasn't I? So where your ribbons come down the box here, you have a glue tab that wraps around the bottom, and you have one that wraps around the top. So put your second base layer on your box after you've added your ribbons down the sides. Okay, and then you're going to hide then the little tab. Okay, once you've added your ribbons to the side and you've covered your base, you want to add this die with a little stitching on here. This covers your glue tabs on all four, but it also strengthens the lip of your box. Now I have just cut some panels on the outside and the inside on my paper trimmer, my guillotine, and I've drawn inside the die for the base to get that size to line the inside. The lid is your base die, so 4 of those together will line your lid, and then you're going to add extra panels on the inside of your lip to cover your little tabs here from where your ribbons wrap round on all those 4, but also it gives strength to your lid and it gives it a nice snug fit. And dependent on what cardstock you use would be dependent on how many times that you line the lid. Okay, it's been done like that because we all use different cardstock. Okay, so I'm going to put these 2 boxes to one side, and we are going to get one put together, so join me in a moment. We also have these foil fusion sheets. Now these foil fusion sheets, they do work very well with this box, but they have been designed to work as standalone. So they will be fantastic for your card making. And I'm just going to take one out of the foil to show you. Basically they're A5 sheets, and you're going to get 4 sheets, and then there's 2 of each design. So if I can show you without the glare, we've got a beautiful star pattern there on both sides. So you're going to get 2 of those. And then this one has to be my favourite. And I shouldn't have a favourite, but I do. And this is little love hearts on there. And again, you get 2 sheets of these. Now these will work with all of your card making and they are going to work with panels in your box, and they will work great with this box as well, and we are going to use some of them. Now I'm just going to put those to one side just for a moment, and I'm just going to show you a little card I have here that we created with those sheets. It's a little slimline card. If you're familiar with our loaded pockets that we had some time ago, I've just done a little shaker tag here, and I've added that lovely sentiment from this set, the Octavia set, especially for you. And there we've created a little pocket using the Octavia die set, and we've used that beautiful heart, and then we've used those beautiful foil fusion sheets there, and we've gone with the gold to go with that lovely shade of mustard. So we've got a nice little cute bookmark type card there using those sheets. So I'm going to get all our bits and pieces ready to create this box. So we've got all our bits and pieces cut and ready to put together. So I'm going to show you the base. Okay, so here we have two bases put together. Now I'm actually going to be putting one of these bases on top of the largest lid as a decorative measure. So I'm going to show you how to put one of those together. So we have 4 of these sections here. Okay. And you can see they're going to make your octagon. So we have these strips. Now we need 4. So we're going to put one here, one here, one there, and one there. Okay, now I would always recommend wet adhesive. Anyone that has seen my videos in the past will know that I always opt for the deluxe adhesive. As far as I'm concerned, it is the best glue in the world, and I know you're all going to say I'm biased, but it is. I've used many glues, and this one for me is just, every time, it's my go-to. So I'm just going to go over with my precision tool. Just helps the card break down the fibres and adhere together. So here I'm just going to use a strip of glue and then attach one to the other. And then again, go over with my tool just to give it that helping hand. You'll have more time to let yours dry, but I actually want to get on and get this made for you guys. So we're going to go straight across here. Just make sure your ends are meeting there. Okay, and again, give that a little helping hand. We'll also add one here, and again tuck that in and give that a little helping hand. Going to add one to the top here. And again, just repeating all the sections. Then going to place another one just here. You'll have to excuse, I've got a very squeaky chair at the moment, and it's crunching and squeaking as we go. I need to order myself a new chair. So, going to add that last one there, and this is going to be the decorative layer I am going to add to the lid. Okay, so I'm going like black and white, and then with a little bit of pink, and it's a very soft blush pink. So that is the top layer done there. Your base layer is made exactly the same way. So I'm going to show you now the lid. Now the lid is the largest section. So you have two this shape, and this is the largest one for the lid. And then you'll need 8 of these sides, and as you can see, I've added 6 there already, because obviously you don't need to see me sticking all 8 panels there. So again, we're just going to go in and then hold that. Okay. And then I'm going to add this last panel here. There is quite a bit of cutting, guys, but it's a simple box, it really is. And it's just so clever in the fact that it's a tiny, tiny die set, you know, for the size project that you're going to be making. It blows my mind sometimes, the design. I'm just going to push that one in. There we go. And then I would give that a little helping hand across the score line there. And then at this point we can add the inner. So I have gone for that blushing pink I was talking about. So we're going to stick that inside of the lid. Okay. And then we can add the ribbon. So glue all over. I'm just going to place that evenly in the centre. So you're covering up all your glue tabs on the inside. And then just giving it a helping hand with the precision tool. Just smooths all that glue underneath and helps break those fibres down in the cardstock and gives you a nice finish. So we're going to fold all these glue tabs in. Okay, and I am just going to pinch and hold, pinch and hold. You could put little paper clips in at this point if you wanted to. I'm just going to hold mine in place. And then bring that one in. There we go. You will obviously hold yours a lot longer than myself. I am marching on. So I'll go back and hold that one a little bit longer. I do have some little paper clips here that I can add. Okay, and then we'll hold that one. And that one. And then the last one. Hold that one for a second. And we are going to line the inside of this lip. Now, with the die set being like a 6x6 die set, there's only so many dies you can fit on the sheet. And Tonic realised that we live all across the world. We all have different weights of cardstock. And I might have a 240, somebody else might have a 350, somebody else might have a 220, somebody might have a £100 cardstock. So it's going to fit differently for different cardstocks. So what Tonic have done is they've left it so that you can choose the fit of your lid to the base, basically. And so this would be a little bit looser on my base. So I am going to line the inside, but if I was using a heavier cardstock, then I might not need to line it, or I might only need to line it once. So it depends what cardstock you're using, but that's the idea behind it. And basically, I have some cut here, and they're glued together. I've got a couple of layers there, they're glued together, and it's this die here. It is your side die, and I've just cut the tabs off, okay? But I'll be adding those once I've added the ribbons. So we can take these off now. I'm going to flip it over. Now, you can see here, this is the decorative ribbon strip, and it indicates where it's to go because we're going over that line there in the centre, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add this one now, and then we'll put one together so you can see which pieces you need for this, okay? So again, I'm going to that centre point right in the middle, and I'm going to bring that up, bring that down, and then I'm going to tuck that little tab on the inside of the lid, okay? So let's bring that up a little bit more. There we go. And then we're going to do the same with another one. So I'm going to go in opposite directions. Okay. So again, I'm going to go to there, right opposite, bring that up, bring that up, and then tuck that tab inside. Oh, there we go. And then just hold it until you know everything is grabbed in place. Just going to press there. There we go. And then we're going to do the same again here, and then we're going to put one of these sections together. So for this you will need this section here, and you'll need this section here, so you're going to repeat that 4 times so that you've got your 4 ribbons. And we're just going to press that down there. We also have a little decorative piece which I've cut in white, Craft Perfect, and then the rose gold Miri. And again, we're going to add this little section here to this little strap. So just going in that little section there. And then again, we've done this section here in the rose Miri, and then we're going to back that onto white Craft Perfect. Doesn't need to be a thick layer there. And then we're going to press this into the centre for that lovely decorative element. Okay, so I'm just going to let that dry whilst we glue this one in place. Okay, and again we're just going to follow the pattern that we've done on both sides. Make sure we're in the centre there, and then bring that fold line in and tuck it inside the lid, and then just hold that until you know you can let go. Okay, I'm just going to press that down. Isn't that so pretty? Absolutely love these colours. So again, add adhesive to the underside. There we go. And then we're going to bring that across. Make sure we line up with the score line there, and then bring that down and tuck that in. There we go. You'll hold it a little bit longer than me, but press that in the middle. There we go. So now that those are all tucked in, you can see the glue tabs on the inside there. So this is where I'm lining the inside of my lid. So I've got, I think I have actually 3 layers here, and I have used a 240 GSM cardstock. So we'll see how we go. This is suck it and see really. It's depends on your cardstock. Okay. So we're going to tuck that in. Okay. And then we can go ahead and make the base. So tucking those in. There we go. It's like a soft ballet pink, the colours that I have picked here. Just going to trim the edge off there. There we go. Don't want that edge on there. And you'll just go round, just making sure you're all secure. And then this next one. Two more. There we go. Take the end off that piece. There we go. And then this last piece, just going to add the adhesive into that space. Okay, just going to make sure we're all glued in there, and that is that part of the lid. So that said, we can go ahead and make the ribbon top. We'll do the base separate. So we have these two sections here, and you can see you have a glue tab here and you have one here, and then all you're going to do is slide one under the other to create that hex shape, or octi shape I should say. Getting my hexes and my oxes mixed up. So there we have those two. Now to make the longer loop, you will glue two of those sections together, okay, and then you don't crease this score line here, keep it straight, because we're just going to curve the whole loop, hold in the middle as we go, and then we're going to add a little bit of glue to the underline of that score mark, and then I'm just going to pinch it. Whilst I'm pinching it, just making sure it gets that rounded shape there and doesn't look too flat. Okay. Now it's up to you at this point. You can either glue underneath that tab or you can glue on top. It really doesn't matter either way. So I mean I tend to glue on top, but it's up to you. So I'm just sticking that down there. If you wanted to, you could wrap under and over if that's your preferred method. You'll find your own way. This is what it's all about. We're just here as a guide, and you can go and do your own thing. So just going to fold that back and just work your way around. Okay, now I haven't added any decorative elements to this section. I just wanted this to be pink and plain. I have a decorative element on the lid, and we have a decorative element for the smaller loop. So I didn't want to go OTT, basically. I didn't want to go over the top. Because sometimes it can make things look too busy, and sometimes that's just a little bit too much, isn't it? It depends how much bling bling that you like. If you like a lot of bling bling, then definitely add the decorative elements to all of the loops. So now we have that section completed. So I now have these. Now this is just one section. Where you've done two sections together here, we have one section, and then we've added that decorative, get that right, decorative strip. We haven't backed it, we've just put it straight onto the ribbon so that the pink pops through. Okay, and then I'm just going to add adhesive to that strip, and I'm going to then sit the strip on top of that glue tab from the previous loop, and just press and hold it until you know you can let go. Okay, and then we're going to carry on going all the way around, adding all those sections. Now you won't see the glue tab when we're finished, because we are adding another two sections to the middle. Okay, so down that one goes, and because that loop is the bigger loop, it kind of pushes this loop forward then, and you can tweak your loops as you go. The thicker the cardstock, the more rigid the loop is going to be. The thinner the cardstock, the slacker the ribbon is going to be. So stick that one down there. And just work your way around. Round we go. And then one more. There we go. A little bit of glue there. Right, so we're going to put that to one side whilst we do this section here. Excuse me. So now in your set you have this section with the slit in the middle. We want to curve these so they're in a round shape, and I'm just going to bend back the glue tabs. Now you can use this die in a couple of different ways. You can make more of a solid dome in the middle, or you can have the open kind of ruffle effect that I'm going for, kind of like those that you buy and put on your parcels from the supermarket or the card shops. But now you can make your own. So if you did them out of like a mirror, They'd be just like the ones you stick on your parcels. So we're going to crease those. And shaping them with the bone folder like you would shape a piece of ribbon on a parcel just helps it get that shape you're looking for. So we just one more. There we go. And then fold that back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue all the ups and then I'm going to glue underneath. So a little bit of adhesive on each one. I'm then going to add the tabs. They're looking like a long-legged spider here. Okay, and then the next one. And you just work your way around till you've added all of the sections. There we go. And then so that's on then. And then to secure those, I just add some more adhesive on another little cog. Place that on top, like so. And then secure those down underneath. Okay. And then I'm going to turn this over now and I'm going to adhere these underneath. There we go. Bring them all in. And that one. And then these last three. There we go. And that last one. I'm now going to add a little bit of a foam pad just to that middle section there at the bottom, just to raise it up a little bit. And then I'm going to add this in between what would be those sections there. And then I'm going to push that down in the middle. Just like that. So we've got a now flouncy bow in there. Now you could go and add another one and another one. But there's a little die in the set. There's like a little chain. And I've just attached it. So it's like a little dome. And I am going to add another little foam pad to the bottom, just to give it a little bit of height. And then I'm going to add this with a little bit of glue for longevity. Oops. And I'm just going to add this to the centre, just for a slightly different look. And I am just going to poke my pokey tool in there just to get some. And we've just added that to the middle. Okay, so I'm going to add a foam pad on one side and then half a foam pad to the other side, and I'm going to place this on the lid. So I'm just going to add just a few little drops of adhesive there, and I'm going to place that on our lid, and we're just going to go centrally on there, and then we're going to press that down to where we want it to be. Okay, and we've got a beautiful little pretty pink. Now I was thinking I was going to add a black layer on top of the lid and then add the bow, but I wanted it to look a little bit lighter because we've got the darker bottom, so I'm keeping the lid light. And who doesn't love a little pretty pink bow? So now we're going to go towards the base of the box. So like I said to you before, we have 8 of these side panels, so we want to crease and score all of those little tabs there. So let's get that done on all 8 of those pieces there. There we go. Definitely burnish with a bone folder if you have one to hand. I mean, I have one to hand, but more often than not I do actually use my nails. And then fold that one. There we go. And then one more. Okay. So now we've got one of our bottom sections there. Okay. Now I am going to glue over that tab there because I am lining the inside. Now if you weren't going to line the inside of your box, then I would definitely glue the tab on the outside, so we would be in effect gluing this way round. Maybe we should do that so that you can see what we're doing. So we will do it that way. But you can do it the other way if you are lining the box, because you're not going to see your tabs. Okay, so you just make sure that that can be brought up at the sides. So we're just going to go ahead and glue each one of these sections in place. Okay, and do go over your line there just to burnish and bring those fibres together. Okay, so just going to go ahead and do all of these panels. Okay, so down we go. It's such a pretty box, it really is. I saw this on my visit last year, and I was blown away, and I went, oh, when is that for? And not yet. And I went, oh, I said, it's lovely. I was just blown away by the sheer size of this box. To think that a creator make die set can make something like this is just, yeah, blows me away. I mean, I'm flabbergasted sometimes, you know, and I sit and I think that all these things we're making just comes from a plain piece of cardstock, you know, and you're making amazing things. I know that when I'm on a video call to my dad and he says, oh, what you're working on at the moment, and I'll show him and he'll go, oh my goodness me, you know, he just can't get over it. Sometimes I think he thinks I've bought bits and pieces and then stuck them together, and they're bought made, you know, manufactured from somewhere else. And I'll say, no, Dad, it was a piece of card. So, and I feel that way, you know. And you see, like recently the galleon, and you think, blimey, that was just plain card. Right, so last one. There we go. So at this point, we don't want to add our bottom layer. We want to glue these upright together. So I'm just going to place some glue. I apologise if you can't see properly, because obviously we're at a funny angle, but one will do one's best. So bring that in, and I tend to then lay it down on the desk and then use my trusty bone folder, she says, to adhere those pieces together before they move. Okay, and then we'll move on to the next section. Go all the way around until we've got all those panels together. Go. So I'd imagine at this moment in time you're all playing with your March Madness goodies. I'm probably having an absolute ball. Some amazing sets for March Madness. There we go. So we'll just stick this other panel. And then rest that one down. Every year I say Tonic cannot kind of beat the next, and they do. Every single year they go one step further, one step further, one step further. I just love all the ideas, and oh, the stuff they have coming for birthday week. Oh my days. It's going to be awesome. Right, let's bring that down. Nearly there, guys, nearly there. Just take your time, because you don't want to get glue everywhere. As much as it dries clear, you know, we want to be careful with the glue. We don't want lots of dry glue showing there. I'm a bit of a sucker for seeing glue on projects. I just don't like it. So last but not least, and you'll see now the sheer size of this box, it's just something else. I mean, how many chocolate oranges are we going to get in this box? I tell you what, it'd take a fair few Ferrero Rochers to go in here, wouldn't it? Right, so there is your base. Okay, so at this point we want to add our ribbons. Okay, so we have these sections go together just like the sections did on the lid, but instead of the pointed, we're going for the squarer edge. Okay, so what we want to do is crease that little tab at the bottom there. The curved top will be going to the top. So here we have one. So we've got that decorative panel. Okay, which is going to go now on this white panel. Okay, and then that is going to go on the ribbon piece, like so. Okay, and then we have this little decorative piece that we will add. We'll just add that to the tab. Then we've got this little decorative piece which we're going to stick in the top. There we go. And we'll just let that tab dry whilst we add the others. So at this point you could actually line your lid with your base and know exactly where your edges are going to be. Okay, so you could pencil mark it if you want to, or you're just going to eyeball it. It's completely up to you. Okay, so it is roughly in the middle, you know, everything has been measured for you. So I am just going to add the adhesive. Okay, and we're going to go middle for diddle, and we're going to hook that piece in and fold that over, hold that with one hand and then tuck that in and under with your other. We're going to cover these glue tabs over at the bottom, so we're not going to see those. Okay, so just make sure that's all in situ, and we're going to miss a panel and then we're going to add one to the other panel. Okay, so we're doing every other panel. And then we are going to add some foil fusion panels. Now, just as before, it's up to you if you decide to line inside your box. It's up to you if you want to add foil fusion pattern papers. Whatever your theme is, your choice, it's up to you. But we've gone with those gorgeous foil fusion sheets that I showed you. And we've gone in with some rose gold foil, so it all matches our box. So again, we're missing a panel and we're going to do this panel. So I have just cut some panels on my paper trimmer for the box because I just wanted an extra little something. But this is the beauty of this box. You can go full out, you can go simple, you can go busy, you can go pattern papers. The choice is yours. Okay, and then the last one, again opposite that one, and we're going to glue that down. Okay, and again I'm going to go middle for diddle. Okay, and then we're going to wrap that round and then hold that. Now you can see the bottom is a rough finish. We've got the tabs, but then we have our other base that we are going to cover those tabs. Okay, so we're going to add adhesive now to this section. Like I said, I was going to add a black layer to the lid, but I think the black base will be enough black. But you could, if you wanted to, add that extra layer to your lid. Okay. I just like it that you've got a choice. It's up to you how far you want to take it. So I'm going to turn it over, and then I'm going to burnish from the inside, because there you've got somewhere to press and lean against. Okay, I'm going to go round all 4 sections. Okay, so we don't want to see these glue tabs, so I've gone in with a light pink, and it's the stitched top section, and I'm going to go across that top section on the inside with that dye, because we're going lighter inside, because we can. So we're going to go all the way around there. Now at this point you could have cut an inner panel that was the full length of the inner panel if you wanted to, but I just wanted to use the dies. I wasn't sure if I was going to go with a top black section or pink, because I did have black cut here as well, but Vicky can never make her mind up. But we've decided we're going all pink inside, because we can. So we're just going to go round the top. 1, it secures all your glue tab, but 2, it strengthens the rim of your box as well. If your cardstock is a little bit thinner, it will add a little bit more robustness to the box. Okay, we're just going to go all the way round. But again, this is optional. You could have just left it as it was inside. This is just me. Just me. I have to do that a little bit more. As my hubby says, I am hard work. Cheeky, isn't he? Right. 2 more to go. There we go. And 1 more. Just make sure you do it in line with the box and don't go past the line, because otherwise then you're going to see it from this side. Okay, so that's the rim. So now I have cut some panels. So the panels measure, let's get the ruler out. We have 2.5 inches by 2 3/4 inches. Okay, and we need 8 of those. So these are going to go on the inside wall. Just sit below that panel there, because like I said, I wasn't sure if I was going to go black and then pink, but I've decided to go all pink. This box is very Audrey Hepburn, I think, in these colours. So all the way round, and like I said, it just adds a lot of strength to this box. So you could put something substantial in here. I mean, imagine this in a light blue and a baby box, and it could have little booties, bonnet, pacifier, little toy. Fabulous gift. A new puppy to the house. It could have a dog toy, dog treats. It could be themed in dog papers, cat papers. You know, this box, you will use it time and time again. It'll come out at Christmas. It'll come out at Mother's Day. It really is a wedding box. Imagine this with bride and groom. You could have it like a cake box, couldn't you? It could be a box of the brownies, all your little cookies in there, scouts. just Halloween box, every occasion you could think of, decorated with cobwebs and skeletons and pumpkins. A big massive purple bow on the top. We have all these ideas, but we don't get enough time to do all the ideas we think of. But if you do, then I hope they help. So I'm just going to burnish those panels down inside, just to make sure there's no little air bubbles there, and that we are firmly stuck down there. Okay, right, so now I'm going to add these inside panels. Now, to get the inside panels for the base of here, I've actually drawn inside the die with a pencil, and then I've just trimmed them out. Just gives you another option and another layer, and that's something that I do like to do. If there's not enough layers in the set, I'll make myself some extra layers. So just excuse me if I get my head into view there, and just put that down there. There we go. Get that one down there. And the last panel. And then I'm just gonna burnish those. There we go. And that's the inside line, and that really is now robust. Okay, so what I've done is I have cut 4 panels I should say, sorry, 4 panels, and I have used the foil fusion from the packs that I've shown you. So we have used this beautiful heart design, and like I said, you get 4 sheets. They're A5 and they're split in half, so you get a different pattern for each half. So we have stars in this one, and we had those gorgeous hearts. So we've gone with the hearts. So then they are a standalone item. They go with your cards and they go with your gift boxes. So I've gone ahead and I've foiled 3 sheets. We're going to foil this sheet here. Now I've already added the sheet to a piece of that pink card, and I'm just going to go across the sheet to make sure that all of those hearts are well and truly glued down to that card. So I'm just going over with a bone folder, your precision tool, just to make sure they're all adhered. And I'm going to lift the corner off carefully. There we go. Move, get rid of that sheet. And then I'm going to place this piece of foil over the top. I'm going to smooth it out with my hand. And then I'm carefully, not very hard, I'm just carefully going over that sheet. And you'll know when it's released because you'll start to see the hearts appear underneath. Okay, so we're going to go down, and it might look like I'm being quite rough, but I am going over it lightly. Okay, so we can see the pattern coming through on all of that sheet. So I'm just going to turn it towards me so I can get this nearer to me. Okay, and then all we want to do is just lift, and there'll be a little bit there that hasn't, and you'll start to see all of that lift off. Now, what I want to cover with this, because some people have asked, is sometimes you'll see places that haven't. You can put your foil back over those areas and you can just pick up the foil that it would have missed. Okay, and there, we've got some there. It just picks up where you've missed it. You're not going to put any extra on that you didn't need to. Okay, so now we've got those 4 panels, and I'm going to place these on the blank panels, so every other panel. Okay, so these panels are slightly bigger, so I will measure them for you. So we're going to go on this panel here, the slight border all the way around the edge. Okay, again, this is optional, you don't have to do this, but I just think it sets this box off a treat. So let's measure this panel, if I didn't already. I've got brain like a sieve, haven't I? So it's 2.5 by 3.25, and you'll need 4 of those. So on another panel. Okay, and who doesn't love pink hearts? Gorgeous. Just love that foiling, and it just all ties so well with my colours, and beautiful. So let's bring that one down, and again that straight. And then the last panel, I'm going to place that one there. Absolutely love that foil fusion with this box, it's beautiful. There we go. But knowing I've got lots more foil left to make some cards. There we go. So there is the edge of your box there, with those gorgeous panels. And then you've got it beautifully lined inside. You've got a stunning lid to match. Okay, so there it is in its entirety. And then I'm going to add a little bit of something inside. So I've got some shredded pink paper. I'm just going to place inside there. And I think I might turn this into a card. I've not made my mind up yet, because as you know, Vicky can never make her mind up. But we've made a little hat there. It could be Ascot Day, could be, I don't know, Ladies' Day. And it's just a little 3D hat we've put together. I'm just going to place that in the centre there with that lovely shredded tissue. And then we have that gorgeous lid. So that is the Octavia gift box, and that is the Creator Make for this month. If this interests you and you really want to put this in your basket, then head on over to the Tonic Studios website, where you'll be able to purchase this die set. Don't forget, if you're a TCK subscriber, you'll get your 10% discount. And any problems, just reach out to Tonic HQ or the DT girls, and we'll be happy to help. I just want to say thank you very much for joining me today. It's a pleasure to have your company as always. And for now, happy crafting.